Hey everyone, welcome to the Movie Throne. I'm your host, the one and only King Kansas, here to bring you another movie review right here on YouTube land. As you can tell from my voice and the smile on my face, this is going to be a good one. Well, I personally think it's going to be a good one, especially if you're into that whole blood and guts, violence kind of movie, then you're going to enjoy this for sure. 100% guarantee. What the hell am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Rambo Last Blood starring Sylvester Stallone. Yes, you heard me right. Last Blood, Rambo. Yes, a Rambo film. Let me give you like the rundown, guys. Like usual, there'll be a quick, and I mean a very quick non-spoiler, then a spoiler-filled review. It's not going to be a long review at all because it ain't a long movie. To be exact, it's only an hour and 20 minutes long. And you know what? Good enough. The plot was very simple. Everything was very simple and basic. It was a point A to point B kind of film. Very simple. For me to do a non-spoiler, I'm going to try my best to do it justice without ruining, which there's not much to ruin. Basically, John Rambo, Sylvester Stallone's character is just trying to settle down, live a normal life. He's kind of lived with somebody for 10 years. This lady and her daughter, who he kind of raised as his own. She's a very good girl. She's Mexican background. She decides to go find her lost father in Mexico, which is dangerous, with one of her old friends who used to live with them, who's now there, and she's a, trust me, backstabbing little bitch. Let's just say that. So with her help, she wants to locate her father and kind of get the answers that she's been eluding her for the whole bunch. She does know that her father was abusive towards them and that kind of extent. But you know, young girls, they want to get information themselves. Didn't want to listen to John Rambo, so she ends up going to meet up with her friend. And wow, do things turn down slowly. She meets up with her father. Things don't go too well. She ends up going to this club and she basically gets drugged. And she gets dragged into the world of, let's just say, drugs and the sex trade, basically, guys. They end up taking women and they use and abuse them in the most nastiest, disgusting ways possible. Word gets back that she didn't come back from her trip to Sylvester Stallone, and Sylvester Stallone, John Rambo, decides, you know what, he's gonna go do down there and go get her. And that's where things kind of go bad for him. He ends up going back again, and that's when he brings the fight to them. Something major goes down. He succeeds, but he doesn't succeed. I'll just say that. I'll get more in the spoilers. And then he ends up going there, raising some hell, and draws him back to his ranch back in Arizona in the States, where shit literally goes down. And I mean, when stuff goes down, stuff goes down. John Rambo comes alive. We're talking about booby traps, you name it, the works, people losing limbs, things getting stabbed into people. I'm telling you, it's that kind of film. So if you don't like that kind of film, then this is not a movie for you 100%. If you do love it, then this movie is 100% for all you guys. I am so pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed this movie. And like I said, it was perfect. It wasn't too long, not too short. Sylvester Stallone was still believable. You know, he's like 60-something years old. God rest him, maybe even 70 if I'm not mistaken. And man, you believe that he could still do some of the stuff that he does. Like, he is John Rambo. And the way things end off at the end, he might even do another one, which is crazy. The ending scene, oh my God. Like, he said he was going to do a particular thing to one of the guys who was responsible for what happened to the person that he cared about, that daughter. And boy, do you see it come to fruition. And it's like a holy shit moment. I'll just say that. But, oh my God, I can't wait to tell you guys in the spoiler portion. But I highly recommend you guys checking out Rambo. Let me give you some details before I do go into the spoilers, guys. It came out September 20th, 2019. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, not 29 long. It's directed by, let's see, I want to get this, Adrian Grunbers, if I'm not mistaken. And it was released by Millennium Media Studios and Balboa Productions. That's Sylvester Stallone's company. And it stars Sylvester Stallone, Paz Vega, Sergio Peris-Mencheta, Adriana Barraza, Yvette Monreal, Joaquin Cosio, Pascacio Lopez. I hope I pronounced these names right. Oscar Jaenada, Aaron Cohen, and Nick Whitman. Oh my god. I'm telling you guys, it's bananas. Like, you have to see it, basically, but I totally recommend you check it out. Like I said, it's not for everybody. It's a little violent, so if you don't like those kind of movies, skip it. But you could tell from my face, I give it the King's approval, and I think Tinky will approve it too. Anyways, let's get into spoilers, because there's not much to spoil, but what I'm going to tell you, it's going to be spoiled like crazy, but it's worth every single minute. Okay. Basically, guys, gist of the movie is you got Sylvester Stallone, John Rambo. He's on a ranch. He's trying to settle into a simple life. He's been living with this lady with her daughter, raised her as his own. She's a good kid. She's going to be going to university, but at the same time, she's wondering why her father left her. There was like a rundown. I think her father beat up her mother, and her mother ends up passing away from cancer. He ends up leaving because John Rambo gets involved and basically says, you better get the hell out of here, you're dead. But like any other kid, wants to find out why he left her and her mother behind. So she agrees not to go, but then she does like what other little teenagers, I'm not going to go. But she's stubborn, set in her ways. She ends up contacting one of her friends in Mexico who used to be there with them on the ranch, and she ended up booking it too. She's a troublemaker and a half. She's a little douchebagette, I'll say that. Sets her up, ends up going to go meet her father. Father doesn't want to have nothing to do with her. She's all upset. They end up going, let's go to the clubs or whatever in Mexico. Bad idea, women there. So she gets roofied. This idiot puts something in her drug. She ends up getting kidnapped. And of course, she gets involved with these two Mexican idiots there who are the drug cartel who run the area. They're into that sex trafficking and all this stuff, getting girls and selling them and using them and all this shit. Disgusting shit, okay? So she was supposed to return back that same day. Stallone gets up the next day. John Rambo gets up and he notices that she's still not back. The grandmother of the daughter says she's not back, so he goes, she went to Mexico. So he goes back there like a badass. He gets down to the bottom and kind of tracks her to where she is or where she's being kept. Close to it, he ends up getting scarred or whatever the hell and gets a warning. You come back, whatever the hell, she's going to be done for sure. So they end up doing the scarring on his face to her, and they drug the shit out of her, guys. They really do a number on him and his daughter, as he calls her. So he ends up getting rescued by Paz Vega's character, Nurse to Health. He goes back. He ends up going back to get her. He ends up finding where she is, man. I'm telling you. Holy shit. When you see people's heads getting blown off and people getting stabbed like there's no tomorrow, it happens during this movie in this part. This is nothing. The ending is even better. So he goes in there. He ends up finding her. He notices that she's in rough shape, guys. She has needle marks on her arm. They really drugged her up to do whatever they did to her, and it's pretty damn sad. He ends up booking it out of there. He's driving back to the ranch, and she dies. She passes away right next to him, and he's kind of like spewing his heart that says, you know what, it wasn't until I met you and your mother that I felt something, and that really seals the deal. So he ends up taking her back to the ranch to the grandmother. Grandmother loses it. She ends up being told, you got to get going. So he ends up going back to Mexico, guys, finds this skinny little shit that's responsible for scarring him up and his daughter, cuts his head off. When I mean cuts his head off, he basically has him stuck in his bed with his head decapitated with the picture of who's responsible to the other drug cartel who spared his life. So he kind of sends him a message, and Rambo knows. He ain't stupid. So he ends up going back, and he does what Rambo does best. He sets up booby traps all over his ranch, from using the tunnels that he's built underneath to his house to the barnyard, sharpening his sharp bow and arrow skills. I'm telling you, it is amazing. And of course, like always, he's at her grave there. He ends up burying her on the ranch, though. He sees them coming. He sets up like a minefield. The cars blow up. Shit starts to go down. When I mean shit goes down, it goes down. You got people getting blown up. They're stepping on stuff. Stuff is coming their way, right in their heads, and he's blowing all their heads off in the tunnel. Like, wow, like it's that gory. There's one scene that he puts a stick right through this little mural that's on the wall that his daughter drew, pokes the guy in the eye, gets him, and then the other guy, he ends up starting to shoot him, and behind the wall, Rambo goes down low and he cuts his damn ankle off. I was like, are you kidding me? And then he does his number, and then there's spikes that he's put in the ground that they end up going in. He's shooting people up, bombs are going down, tunnels are coming down, and the last guy, he basically tells him over the microphone that he has up in the ceiling that everybody's dead. I left you last because I want you to feel how I felt when you basically ripped his heart out of his chest. So he's telling this clown that he's going to do that to him. He's going to get him, and he's going to make him feel what he felt, like getting his heart ripped out. He's going to carve his heart out of his chest and pull it out of him. And I'm like, okay, figure of speech. He's going to do something to him. I don't think he's going to do that, right? But anyways, gets to the point that the place is coming down. He's running up through the barn. Rambo basically, I swear to God, guys, he shoots, must have been 5 or 6 arrows or something, pins him on the damn wall, and this guy cannot move. You got Rambo who's hurt. Don't get me wrong. He's been shot and shit. Walk towards him. He pulls out the knife. And I'm like, oh, no, he's not. He ain't going to do it. The whole movie is gory. And I'm like, this thing, I'm getting chills just by mentioning it, guys. He ends up walking towards this guy. Says what he has to say. Basically say, you know what? You're going to feel how I feel. Guys, I'm not lying to you. He takes the damn knife into his chest. And he starts carving around his heart, reaches in his chest, yanks his bloody heart out, and then the guy looks at him and slowly dies. And I'm like, what a badass moment. I don't think I've ever seen something like that in a long time, okay? And, it's been quite a few years that I've seen something like this, but shit, I was like, unbelievable. And then, this is the cool part. This is the badass part. This is what I call badass. He ends up walking slowly, limping. He ends up saying a few words that, he's come back home and all this crap that, this is his thing he wants to protect. And he, by him staying alive and fighting, it keeps the people who's passed away's memory. Kind of brought me a little sentimental thing, with me and Tinky there. But anyways, and he ends up sitting on a rocking chair there like a badass, just sitting back. And then it fades to black. That's how it ends. And I'm like, are you serious? Is there going to be another one? But, oh my God, like, from beginning to end, non-stop, whatever. Like, the first little bit, the last 25 minutes, guys, do not leave your seat. Do not leave that seat. Watch him take these people out. It was vintage Stallone as Rambo, right to the end. And you will be happy. If you like this kind of movies with the mafia and people's heads getting blown off, shot, killed, stabbed, tortured, whatever you can think of, decapitated, it happens in this movie. You're going to enjoy this. If you don't like these kind of movies, you're not going to like this. I can tell you right now. It's the perfect length, an hour and 20. It's like a very simple plot, guys, from A to B. All the actors brought it. Stallone was believable, and that's what sold you on the film, and that's why I probably enjoyed it more. It brought me back to my 20s, let's just say that, when he was a badass. And even the Rambo that came out, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years ago almost 8-10 years ago, I want to say, was pretty good in my books, right? But this one, holy shit. Like, you can watch this one easily again and not be bored. So, there you go, guys. That's my overexcited movie review on Rambo Last Blood, starring Sylvester Stallone. I hope you guys liked it. Go in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts on this Rambo. Did you like it? Did you think it was too short? Did you think it's one of the better ones? Do you think there's going to be a sequel? Keep it spoiler free, guys, even though I ruined this part of the thing. I don't want people to read the comment sections and ruin it. I want you guys to enjoy it as much as I did, and I think you guys will enjoy it. And I highly recommend you guys checking this out if this is your kind of cup of tea, if you want to say that, or your cup of blood, in his case, and bullets, But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Check out my other content here on the Movie Throne. Check out the other one that I dropped earlier in the week. Like, I'm telling you, there's so many. Terminator, Dark Fate, that was one of the movies that everybody's like, Check that out for yourself. Like I always say, check these out for yourself. Listen to what I have to say, because usually I'm on the money. Like, just because I like something, I'm not going to say that, oh, you guys are going to like it just because I like it, or it's good because I believe it's good. That's not the case. I say it as it is. I am the law. I know everything, to tell you the truth. No, I don't. I know most everything. Let's just say that, okay? I'm usually right on the money, but you guys are letting me know in the comment section. And like I said, check out my other content right here on the Movie Throne. Like, share, and subscribe. Tune in next week. There might be 2 movie reviews coming your way. We'll see. Depends on what the hell I'm doing, because I've got this little small show called The Podcast Outlaws that's going to be dropping today as well. And that's going to be an amazing different side of King Kansas, let's just say. And of course, the doctor himself, Dr. Movies, will be in the house to join me by my side for another fun-filled 35 minutes or so of fun. And like I said, we'll be answering serious stuff, not movies this time. Don't worry. Tune in. Subscribe to that channel. Subscribe to this channel. And most importantly, stay off the King's Throne. I will see you next week right here on the Movie Throne for another movie review. Take it easy, guys.